Pictures got hidden, obscuring the past, history rewritten, hung in a hallway where no tour can see, confirm his unending fragility. If Trump can't see it, you must not exist. That also includes the extinct list, object permanent, a milestone missed. If Trump can't see it, he must not exist. protesting was the line that he said. Hundreds of thousands needlessly dead. Now HHS is run by brainworm quack, hiding the truth behind his back. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list, an administration run by narcissists. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Of documents stacked floor to the wall, top secret folders in a bathroom stall. Charges were pressed but the case was dropped. A corrupt judicial system he can co-opt. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. House includes the Epstein list. He'll swear it's fake news, a liberal twist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. Downtown tents lining the street. Invisible people that power won't beat. Hide them away so the cameras can't find it. Proof of a system that's cold and unkind. A payout in secret, an NDA sign, an illegal bribe. Michael Cohen fine. Trump got fined too over his gag order, but she didn't gag cause he was much shorter. It must not exist. That also includes the Epstein list. We can't let him win, we must resist. If Trump can't see it, it must not exist. A self-proclaimed king, a groper in chief, stealing our country, a crooked orange thief. Faux patriots who are poorly educated, wearing red hats and also unvaccinated. Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, the animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A failing media that's barely treading water. They're too inept to fight this new world order. Corporate pigs are at the trough, hear the squeals. The swine won't bite the hands that feeds them meals. But Liberal Dan will see us flow. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. A leftist voice on air, exposing MAGA treason, breaking through their lies with facts, logic, and reason. Unmasking hypocrisy, the truth will be our guide. Call out their lies, justice is on our side. Cause Liberal Dan will see us through. It's the best show that you're not listening to. So when you hear the call, animals unite. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right.
And welcome back to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. This is your host, Dan Zimmerman. I'm going to come at you live from New Orleans, Louisiana. Depending on how I feel when I decide to open up, if I decide to open up the phone lines, depending on how long I make the show, the phone lines will go open. I'm not as tired as I was Monday night, but I'm still kind of exhausted. I had a very long day at work. I can get into that a little bit, I guess. I don't want to bore you with all the details or whatever, but digging into other people's systems and actually solving problems. So I actually accomplished things today at work, which yay. And I actually proved that we had a problem with one of our systems where it was putting some incorrect data, and it has been putting incorrect data in for like years. And I was like trying to figure out which of our third-party vendors was responsible for setting it up so that I can, say, hey, fix this for us and fix your screw up. But instead of trying to track that down, I actually took about an hour on a Saturday one day, and I found the problem, and I solved the problem, I thought, and that was like a month and a half ago, and I was actually finally able to test it because of all the issues with this other system, and we finally proved that my fix is correct. So I probably saved my company about 9 to 10 grand, assuming that the estimate they gave was correct and it wouldn't have taken longer. So yeah, that should look good on the annual review, right? So hopefully that'll mean a nice chunky bonus and maybe a good raise too, especially if some of the other things pan out as I expect them to, and everybody is just super delighted and happy with my work. So knock on wood, let's see if that happens. But again, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining the show. Remember to like, share, subscribe. The best thing you could do to help the show grow is just interact with the content, go on other posted videos that I've already posted, like, share them, comment on them, respond to other people's comments. Remember to, if you're not subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe here. We're trying to grow. We will add probably, I don't know what specific date we'll be adding the third show, or the third show of the week, but it will be on Thursdays. That will be our new show date, and we'll go from there, and we'll try and see what's up with that. Anyway, what else to talk? Oh, there's always the other ways to help the show. I've pinned the GoFundMe again. It's not necessarily Cassie's issues this time. Cassie's doing great. But again, I'm going under the knife again next Thursday, so in 8 days, and my right knee is getting replaced, and just again, things are just piling up, and so if you feel like you're able to help, there's that. If you want to help even better, I mean, the best thing to do is the Venmo, because if you pay Go Friends and Family on the Venmo, I don't have to pay. There's no fees involved or anything like that. So that's the best way to do it. But if you don't have Venmo, there's the GoFundMe. There's Super Chat, Super Stickers here on YouTube, and there's bits on Twitch. You can gift subscriptions on Twitch. You can gift memberships here on YouTube. As if I'm saying here on YouTube, as if I'm not both on Twitch and YouTube, but whatever. Buy me a cider, go to liberaldan.com, click the Buy Me a Cider button, or just go to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio. Either way will get you there. Or patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way gets you to the Patreon. And thank you to all those people, to the people who are patrons currently, and hopefully we can expand all of this stuff. I owe at least 2 or 3 people shirts, so I'm going to have to get that done once the knee surgery is over with. Anyway, let's go through the chats. The easier one over on Twitch, Orvilby and Aaron are over there, so thank you both for joining us over there. Over on the YouTube chat, we have both the Mod Squad, Jolie and Aaron. Thank you so much. We got Bonnie, the goddess Kimchi herself is here. Big Hook up from the Great White North, and thank you again, Big Hook, for the contribution to the GoFundMe on Monday. I did get that. Let's see. Did I say Bonnie? I think I said Bonnie, but if I didn't, hey Bonnie. Josh, Teresa, Jeff from just north of Uranus. Let's see who else. I know we have Steve from across the pond.
It's Scottish, it's crap.
Let's just make sure my volume levels are right, because other times I've checked the volume and it hasn't been great. Oh, it's actually at 100. Look at that. I'm shooketh. I am shooketh indeed. So, what else? Who else do I have to say hello to as I scroll down? Suzanne, good to see you. Chad, who generously gave 2 big super chats on the last stream, thank you so much, says, congrats on the W, everyone. You guys were due. Yes, we were, and we'll get into more on the amazing victories that took place yesterday in a little bit. Do some other of the house cleaning first. Libra Dragon, thank you for joining. Who else Tim, good to see you, Tim. Let's see. I don't know if I saw Trucker John or not, but if you haven't, if Trucker John's not here, just make sure to go to the Trucker John channel and subscribe to him if you've not already done so. It's a good show as well. I always have extra if you're open to a mail call. What do you mean, a mail call? Like, is it, like, I don't know what you mean by a mail call. Are you sending a candygram, like for the land shark or something? Molly, it's a joy to see you. Thank you for joining the show as well. Joining us in the chat. Hedge Enemy. Of course, Big Hook is laid up, and best wishes to you. We could be, I wouldn't say we'd be bed buddies, because that would be a little, you know.
Oh my.
But, you know, if you're still laid up as of in 8 days, we'll be convalescing together, right? So there's that. So, yeah. Anyway, so I think I've caught up. If I missed anybody, I apologize, mea culpa. Sometimes the scrolling figure can go a little fast there. So I've got my movie theater Captain America cup. That's not the greatest because it leaks out of the top. I don't know how that happens, but it does. Absolutely, Chad. Absolutely, email me. I would absolutely appreciate such a fine gift such as that. Absolutely. Especially since when I talked to my nurse about whether or not I could use a certain thing versus like the oxy that they prescribed for me, the nurse was like, yeah, that's no problem. I'm like, good, because those type of pain pills, the oxy types, block you up, and that's not fun. Anyway, liberaldanradio@gmail.com is my email. So there you go. I would absolutely not be mad at you for that. Although I don't want to necessarily get in trouble either, but anyway.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Big Hook. I guess, you know, I'm not paying for it, right? So anyway. So we will be talking about the real big news from yesterday, which was all of the election results and just the Democrats embarrassing Donald Trump, giving him a huge shellacking. He was defeated bigly across the board, from sea to shining sea. I mean, destroyed. I did not expect the Democrats to be able to do that well, and not just the 2 governorships and the New York City mayor race, but frickin' Georgia statewide elections for their public service commission over. We'll go over that in a second. But yeah, the other big news from yesterday was that Big Dick Cheney died. And like, again, as I say, you know, I'm not going to sit here and I'm not sitting here and like, you know, rah-rahing anybody's death or whatever. But I did see way too many unsolicited dick pics yesterday on my news feed after he passed away. And so that's just not cool. You should at least get consent before sending a dick pic, Cheney or otherwise, right? So, wait, that deserves
Oh my.
Speaking of that, where's our good friend that usually causes me to have to post?
Oh my.
Impeccable Living. Where are you, man? I haven't seen you in a good minute. Anyway, so hopefully he's all right. Yes, Orange Man's team is working overtime to now do away with midterms. With the exception of Congress, I'll talk about that in a second. With the exception of congressional elections, which are required to take place every 2 years, I think it's absolutely stupid to have elections that are not during the general elections. Like, I've talked about this on the show before. Like, New Orleans elections take place at like a different time than the gubernatorial elections. Like, we just had we're having the runoffs for the New Orleans elections this week. Like, this is early voting for runoffs for the New Orleans city council elections and other citywide elections that weren't decided back a few weeks ago. But the Democratic Party is screwed in Louisiana because they have other municipalities, parishes, as you know, what y'all call counties, we call parishes. Other parishes that have their elections on the same day as the gubernatorial election, which means that they're getting out the vote. Meanwhile, in Orleans Parish, guess what? We don't have that. It's on a different day. So Orleans Parish voters don't come out as strong for the statewide elections, which means the Republicans have an unfair advantage in those races. So that is definitely a problem. And we talked with councilperson J.P. Morrell, who destroyed in his election, and he's being reelected to the city council. And when we discussed this with J.P. Morrell, he was basically like, that's no way that's going to get fixed, because I think you not only have to deal with the people who are in New Orleans who like the fact that their elections are not during the other people because they get to have more of the airtime, and also the state Republicans that are going to be like, nope, sorry, we don't want you having the Democratic Party vote getting out even more in New Orleans. So, Jeff, I live next to Bruce and Debbie Parrish. They're nice. They're good people. We like the good people, right? But yes, Bonnie Thompson, I guess we got to retire Darth Cheney. Anyway, so I was heading home last night, and I turned on a local radio station, kind of like, not public radio, but it's like WWOZ. Like, New Orleans has a jazz fest, and WWOZ is very closely tied with the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, and a lot of times you'll listen and you'll listen to that. Sometimes WWZ plays like Hispanic music. Sometimes they'll play clips from Jazz Fest. Sometimes they're just going to play jazz altogether. But I hop in the car and I turn on the radio and I flip on WWOZ, and all of a sudden I start playing Randy Newman's "Short People Got No Reason." Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason to live. And I thought nothing of it. I'm just thinking, okay, they're playing Randy Newman's "Short People." Haha, that's funny. The person I was hanging out with happened to be like a very short person, so I got a kick out of that. But then after his song was over, they start going over some of the other songs that they played in the past, over the past few minutes, or the past few songs that they played. And one of the songs that they played was "I'll Be Dead, You Rascal," or "I'll Be Glad When You're Dead, You Rascal." And the other song that they played was "Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead." All of those songs in tribute to the fact that Dick Cheney passed away. And I just started, I was cracking up while driving my car over the New Orleans Crescent City connection. And then I realized, I had to look up how tall Dick Cheney was. Dick Cheney was 5'8". The average American male the average height of the American male is 5'9" tall. So Dick Cheney was shorter than the average American male. So "Short People Got No Reason to Live," they were playing that for Dick Cheney too. And I was absolutely dying because of that. Not as dead as Dick Cheney, but I was absolutely dying at that. So, and look, he terrible. I mean, obviously terrible. But when you look at Donald Trump right now and you say Dick Cheney was an improvement of Donald Trump, or Donald Trump, on the other hand, is worse than Dick Cheney, that's how low that bar is, right? So, nuts. But anyway, I've been singing in my head all day long. Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason. Short people got no reason to live. Anyway, so it's such a funny song, and of course, short people get angry about it. Yeah, exactly. 250 kilo. I'm dying, but not as dead as Dick, and not Dead Eye Dick, which is a band here from New Orleans. with the Mary Moo, she's a vegetarian. Anyway, we're not doing karaoke tonight on Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, That's Right. We're not going to do that. Although, maybe one of the things, maybe I could go, if I go live on the Patreon or the Patreon or whatever, if I go live over on the Discord, if we decide to do that and have fun some nights or whatever, maybe we could do a karaoke over there, because we're not going to get pinged for all that stuff, right? So, but again, hope you do feel better, a big hook, as us Jewish people would say, refuah shlema, which is, speedy health or whatever. Kimchi goes, Dick is in hell giving advice to Satan. What's probably happening right now, though, is Dick Cheney is down there talking to Charlie Kirk and telling him all about the pleather pants that Erica was wearing when she was embracing J.D. Vance. Who happens to be taking the I am Charlie Kirk a little bit too seriously, right? Chad goes, my wife got out of the shower about 30 minutes ago. The kiddo is at Wednesday night church. I asked her if she was going to come explain a beaver moon to me, but she did not find that humorous. You know, you might piss people off in the chat, Chad, and that's fine, but don't piss off your spouse, right? That's you don't want to. Unlike JD Vance, you don't want to be sleeping on the couch, because Usha Vance has a problem, because even if she's mad at JD Vance for his embracing of Erica Kirk, she can't send him to go sleep on the couch, because he's not going to get any sleep either. So, ooh, we have a Rose coming into the room. Let's see if Rose joins us, and let's see if Rose shows off her butthole to everybody. She hasn't done that in forever. I could kind of tease her with my hands up here, like, "Come on, Rose. Come on, Rose." She's not coming. Oh, she meowed at me, and she said no in her meow. Oh, there we go. Look, it's Rose, everybody. Hello, kitty. Give some celebrations and hearts or whatever in the chat for my Rosie Posey, who's decided to grace us with her royal presence here. So thank you so much, Rose, and what, she's turning around a little bit more, and there's the butthole. Yay! Huzzah for Rosie's butthole. Hey, Roxanne, good to see you. Dick Cheney signed a waterboarding kit from the Borat comedian. Sacha Baron Cohen. Yes. Very nice. High five. Man, the fact that he was able to get all the people to sing, throw the Jews down the well, is just an example of how anti-Semitism is alive and well in this country. Another reason that anti-Semitism is alive and well in this country is York County, Pennsylvania. I was not planning that segue, so thank you for bringing up Borat. Hanover residents and religious leaders are responding after a replica of the Auschwitz concentration camp gate appeared on a Halloween parade float from the St. Joseph Catholic School. The float was drawing criticism from residents, you think, saying the design is insensitive, inappropriate, and hateful. You think? The Most Reverend Timothy C. Sr., Bishop of Harrisburg, issued the following statement. I was shocked and appalled to learn that the Halloween parade float from St. Joseph Catholic School in Hanover included a replica of the Auschwitz concentration camp gate bearing the words, Arbeit macht frei, work will set you free. The inclusion of this image, one that represents the horrific summary, blah, 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 blah. I mean, I don't think we have to explain. We shouldn't have to explain what the Auschwitz sign represents, but yet they decided that it was a good idea to put that on their Halloween float. I'm surprised they didn't throw, like, zombie Jews in Holocaust outfits with the stripes and either a gold star or a pink triangle, or maybe both. So, yeah. Anti-Semitism is alive and well. We will work with the school community to ensure that this incident becomes an opportunity for education and reflection and review approval processes so that such a grievous incident is never repeated. How about firing the people who are responsible for it and punishing anybody else, if they're students, for putting it on the damn float in the first place? We can't do that, right? Because, anti-Semitism is a tale as old as time. So, Community Responds, New York JCC, Jewish Federation of Greater Philadelphia, and the Jewish Federation of Harrisburg jointly responded to the Halloween float. These acts, intentional or not, how is building the gate from Auschwitz not intentional? Oops, I mistakenly created a replica of a gate of a Nazi death camp and placed it on it just happened to fall on it. We had it for something else and it just fell on the float and we decided not to move it. How is it not intentional? I mean, I understand that us as Jewish people sometimes have to tiptoe everything when it comes to anti-Semitism, because when we like to point out that things are anti-Semitic, people like to doubt us. Like when I point out that Donald Trump's executive order number was 14188, which is basically 14/88, the 14 words and the 88 for HH, Hail Hitler. You know, we have to tiptoe around that because if we're too loud complaining about anti-Semitism, people start saying, oh, they're just playing the bigotry card. You know, what do they know? What do we know about our own oppression and marginalization, right? These acts cause fear and pain for Jewish individuals and for all who understand the weight of these symbols. We appreciate Bishop Senior's acknowledgement of the harm caused and his apology on behalf of the diocese, recognizing the impact of such imagery as a vital step towards understanding, healing, and preventing similar incidents in the future. Nobody should have to act. Nobody should have to act to explain to people why this is wrong, but we did elect an anti-Semite as president, and, you know, other anti-Semites clearly exist in this administration and as supporters of the administration. So, as old Donald would say,
it is what it is.
So anyway, Jewish Federation of Greater Harrisburg came out with a separate response. The Jewish Federation of Greater Harrisburg is deeply disturbed and unequivocally condemns the ignorant and upsetting display depicting the gates of the Auschwitz concentration camp and the Hanover Halloween parade. The depictions of these painful symbols outside of an educational setting is never acceptable. This incident sadly reflects the unsettling rise in hate, ignorance, and anti-Semitism in Pennsylvania and across the nation. Much better statement from the Jewish Federation of Greater Harrisburg. So kudos for that, but again, we shouldn't have to say it because it's not a thing that should be done. And yes, today is also Guy Fawkes Day. Remember the 5th of November, but many other nerds will also remember the 5th of November because 70 years ago, on November 5th, 1955, Dr. Emmett Brown hit his head in the bathroom after he slipped and fell and came up with the idea of the flux capacitor, which made time travel possible. So all thanks to the great scholar and scientist, Dr. Brown, because that is today as well. Anyway, is that book Mouse with the comic book retelling of the Nazis still banned in schools? I'm sure it's banned in some schools. But yeah. I'm sure that in Florida, maybe. Let's see if they're still banned in Florida. I'm going to assume it still is. Is Mouse still banned in? It came up in Tennessee. Yes. Mouse has been banned in some school districts, most notably in McMinn County, Tennessee, in 2022. The ban was based on concerns about inappropriate language, nudity, and age appropriateness for the 8th grade curriculum. While the book is not banned nationwide, these local bans have sparked national discussions and criticism, because why wouldn't they? Yeah. What else? Jeff goes, I've done plenty of stupid shit that was unintentional. Well, yeah, but, being drunk and coming on Liberal Dan and making silly comments on Liberal Dan Radio is might be unintentional. Having a float that contains the Auschwitz sign, again. So, hey, Roxanne, good to see you. Did I say hello to Roxanne? I don't know if I said hello to Roxanne. I know I said hello to Suzanne, I think. So, anyway, so there's that. But yeah, yesterday was an amazing day. Not just, not for the reasons that some might think because of old Big Dick Cheney becoming flaccid. But yeah, you've got Spanberger. And I for a second, I kept saying I thought they were saying Spanberger. And I'm like, That doesn't sound like an appetizing burger at all. I don't want a hamburger made of Spam. I don't like Spam! But Spanberger, you've got, who was a former CIA case officer and a U.S. House member, defeated Republican Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, which, terrible person, by the way. But when I listen to conservatives talking about, well, why aren't the Democrats supporting her? Because she's black. Because conservatives don't understand what we are talking about when we say that, you know, when we want to support black people, doesn't mean that we're going to support all black people. It means that black people should have their say and be represented in all aspects of government, just like everybody else should be, right? So the seat's back in Democratic hands after Glenn Youngkin flipped the seat. New Democratic Representative Mike Sherrill, a Navy veteran and a moderate Democrat, won New Jersey's governorship over Jack Ciattarelli, securing a third consecutive Democratic administration. The last time that happened was in the 60s. She said, celebrate the victory, and we were going to fight for a different future for our children. And of course, the biggest news of yesterday, which there's still plenty of other great news, but the biggest news is Zohran Mamdani, who got elected as a progressive. And here's the thing. There were people like Elon Musk was saying some bullshit about how these people are being entered twice on a ballot. Like Sliwa was twice on the ballot. Mamdani was twice on the ballot. Why was Mamdani twice on the ballot? Because he was endorsed by the Democratic Party, and he was also endorsed by the Workers' Party or whatever. And then Sliwa was the Republicans and another party as well. And Cuomo was only on one. So you could vote for Mamdani as a Democrat, or you could vote for Mamdani as a Workers' Party, Democratic Socialist, whatever. But every vote for Mamdani, regardless of if you picked the one box or the other box, would all be combined together, and that would give you the grand total. It's not confusing if you have several working brain cells and can figure it out. But, these are MAGA conservatives we're talking about, the MAGA conservative shills like Elon Musk, who don't quite understand that fact. And was trying to make a big deal out of nothing. Mountains out of molehills, etc. So, and of course, who were the people in New York supposed to vote for? Sliwa, who's terrible and was never going to win, or Cuomo, who has at least 12, if I'm not mistaken on the number, at least 12 credible claims of sexual harassment against him and his nipple rings. And then he was endorsed by Donald Trump, who was found civilly liable for sexual abuse of E. Jean Carroll. So birds of a feather molest together, or abuse together, or assault together, or harass together, or whatever you want to say these frickin' birds do. The one thing that one bird is not going to do, i.e. Cuomo, is take office because he lost to Mamdani. And while people might bring up, well, you're Jewish, how can you support Mamdani? Because I didn't like the globalize the Intifada comment because of the meaning that word has. People would try to defend those words and basically be like, well, all Intifada means is struggle. Well, so does Kampf. But if people walk around saying Mein Kampf, then guess what? The people are going to be like, what? And they're going to take a step back and wonder what the hell you're saying and why the hell you're saying it. Like if you say, Arbeit macht free, and you say that, oh, work will set you free. Isn't that a great thing to say? No, not in the context of a concentration camp thing, and so it's not some words you're going to want to say. So yeah, it's problematic, but he listened. This is why I don't have a problem with Mamdani. He listened to Jewish leaders, he listened to other Jewish voters, and he took the time and he understood it, and he walked some things back. And it's like, okay, it's much different than, the guy up in Maine who has a Nazi tattoo. Or had a Nazi tattoo before he had it covered up. Because that was removed like a week ago, or 2 weeks ago at this point, or whatever. So he just had the realization. But Mamdani was talking about that, but then he seemed legitimately sincere. And so who are the people in New York going to vote for? Somebody who has the wherewithal to have conversations with people who might disagree with him on certain issues, but agree with him on other issues. and then say, and then, you know, change his tone and rhetoric when it finds out that the tone and rhetoric was harming other people and causing other people to have problems and whatever. Or the guy who has 12 credible sexual harassment allegations against him who had to resign because of them. The choice is clear. Mandani was the clear choice. No ifs, ands, or buts. But, you know, it is what it is. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. That's I don't want to trample over Donald Trump's lines.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. But yeah, so he is the first Muslim mayor, and it's youngest for more than a century. Trump had backed Andrew Cuomo. Let's see, Virginia lieutenant governor, the first Muslim woman in statewide office, I think, period. Ghazala Hashmi made history when she became the first Muslim woman to win a race for a statewide office in the country with a victory over conservative talk show host John Reed. Speaking after victory, she said, "Tonight, together, we have carved a new historic path. Tonight, Virginia, we have pointed our compass that guides us into the future while building our roots in decency, dignity, and dedication." Oh, such horrible words. You know, it's amazing that, you know, I had a conversation one time. I think it was on Facebook. And, you know, the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And I was arguing with this conservative, and I was making a rhetorical point specifically because I knew where it would go. And I was like, "I'm Jewish, you're Christian. We don't believe in the same God." "Yes, we do." He's like, "Yes, we do." I'm like, "How do we believe in the same God? You believe that the Messiah has returned already. We don't. We're supposed to keep kosher. You don't have to keep kosher. We believe we can't drive on the Sabbath." Well, I do because I'm a bad Jew, but y'all can drive on the Sabbath. All these differences. Jesus came to fulfill the law, and as such, you only have, you know, two really main commandments. But the whatchamacallit, because I'm distracted. You know. Anyway, so many, you know, we have 613 commandments that we're supposed to follow as Jews. So the two religions, while having the same roots, are completely different. So I'm going to argue that we don't have the same God. Well, yes, we do. And I was like, okay, fine. We have the same God. So does Islam. Muslims worship the same God that you do. No, they don't. They don't. I don't worship the same God as the Muslims worship. They're so predictable sometimes. It's ridiculously stupid how predictable they are. Democratic Jay Jones was elected Virginia Attorney General despite uproar over revelation during his campaign that he sent widely condemned texts that showed him fantasizing about killing a Republican lawmaker and his family. And, well, guess what? The reason he won, I would say, is because he was able to ride the coattails of everyone else, but it's because of Trump. Because Trump the Republicans felt that the elections would go much more in their favor yesterday because that the nation would push back, again, blame the Democrats for the shutdown. But alas, the Democrats who voted yesterday cannot be gaslit into believing that the shutdown is the fault of the Democrats. Because the Democrats come to the table, the Republicans refuse to come to the table. Two people want to have something pass. One offers a counter proposal. The other one says, "No, I'm not negotiating with you." The one not negotiating is the one that's responsible for the problems. So they thought that the Americans would sure be mad at them Democrats, but I reckon they were wrong. Trump also said that he believed that the reason that the GOP had such wide losses is because he wasn't on the ballot. Donald Trump was on every single ballot yesterday, if not in ink, but in spirit, because people came out and solidly and soundly rejected Republicans across the board, even in areas where they were not supposed to. Pennsylvania Supreme Court, 3 Supreme Court seats were up in the state of Pennsylvania. All 3 of them went to the Democrats, who retained those seats, maintaining the 5-2 advantage of the Supreme Court. Of course, California Prop 50 passed, but it passed by 63, 64%. a resounding victory for the Democrats when there was nothing else on that ballot other than the Republican attempts to gerrymander and the Californians' response in kind. And the Californians said, hey, we want to fight back, and we're giving the government of California the authority and the power to fight back against this gerrymandering. And of course, they're fighting gerrymandering. It's more gerrymandering, but sometimes you do have to fight fire with fire. And while gerrymandering is abhorrent and I don't like it happening anywhere, we can't just handcuff ourselves and stand on principle when the other side is cheating and we don't want to cheat. So, but the Georgia Public Service Commission, Democrats won seats. Alicia Johnson and Peter Hubbard defeated Republican incumbents, making the Public Service Commission in Georgia 3-2, Republican to Democrat. Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin said, this victory is a direct response to Trump's cost-raising agenda that is squeezing the pocketbooks in Georgia and across the country. Mississippi didn't take over the legislature, but the Democrats picked up seats in both houses and eliminated the supermajority in the Mississippi State Senate. And I'm anticipating that's going to happen even more in certain states where, they're weakening the Republican strength in districts to try and make more Republican seats. And I sure as hell hope this backfires in their face and that this massive wave of people turning out is, going to continue on into next year and beyond. The New Jersey Assembly, the Democrats gained a supermajority there. So yeah. And here's one of the two things, before I get to the comments that are in the chat, two things I would basically say. Is that, A, yes, we need to continue the fight. We need to continue to Republicans are like, why are you celebrating no kings? Well, here's one of the reasons, because A, Donald Trump said he was a king on his social media channels, but B, all of these no kings rallies and everything got everybody unified, working together to try and solve the problem that is the Donald Trump administration and fighting back against it from your local races. I mean, what is it? J.D. Vance's brother-in-law lost the race to be mayor in Connecticut. You had school board seats that flipped from Republican held to Democrat held. I mean, from small offices to big offices, nationwide, the Democrats kicked ass. And here's one of the reasons why. And look, I am always saying that we should not always be running towards the center, that moving towards the left is going to attract us more voters than pushing to the center gets us. And I think you potentially lose fewer voters by moving to the left as a net, because you have the people on the left who will then come out and support, Mandani being proof of that. Cuomo wanted to run towards the middle, and the city of New York said, F you, we're going with the Democratic Socialist. So in areas that are safe, blue strongholds, you can move to the left and gain progress by becoming more progressive. But what the leftist progressive folks also have to realize is that in some seats, you can't do that. And you have to run candidates who can win in the districts or the states that you're trying to win those elections in. So you can't always push the most leftmost candidate, and sometimes getting a more centrist Democrat, like in New Jersey, like in Virginia, getting a more centrist Democrat is going to still cause you to have resounding victories. So we need to all embrace the idea of a big tent where we move left wherever possible, but we still embrace the moderate and centrist people fighting the good fight against Donald J. Trump. And if we haven't learned that from this election, I don't know how we will live that. I don't know how we will figure that out. Yeah, and I was probably going to go over the Supreme Court arguments on Monday because I haven't had enough time to actually go over everything with the Supreme Court. But anyway, so Churches at Every Game over on Twitch says, here's my take on the blue fucking tsunami last night. Incoming CNN headline, Democrats swept the 2025 elections. Here's how this is bad news for Jeffries and Schumer and doesn't bode well for the midterms. See, Trump dined with effing Kanye and Nick Fuentes and said that Jewish people were ungrateful for moving the Israeli embassy to Jerusalem. He was always an anti-Semitic piece of shit. Well, of course so. And of course, Donald Trump at the conference on anti-Semitism literally told an audience full of Jews that if he lost this last election, that it would be the fault of the Jews, which is literally what Donald Trump did. Or literally what Adolf Hitler did. Sorry for confusing the two. One has a mustache and one doesn't. But that's literally what happened. Blaming the Jews for his own personal problems. So, now back to the YouTube chat, which has much more stuff. Spam is the best thing ever when on the river. Wait, what? Kimchi repukes cannot be trusted. They never were honorable. Let's see. See, Libra yesterday helped to relieve some of my deep concern. Or yesterday helped to relieve some of my deep concern. We the people make it so. Absolutely, make it so. Thank you, number one. The right always offers a soft landing for sex offenders, says Tim. Exactly. Let's see. Bonnie, I can't buy edibles anymore. I have to spend $100 pre-order or per order. Wow, that's very pricey. I mean, sometimes I've spent a bunch, but getting a whole lot in them. I wish we had a place like they had when I was in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because I was able to find a place that had some edibles that were cheap and they were really good too. Let's see. Steve from across the pond. Titus has a theory. Dinky might, Stress might have been using his pageants to ferry girls around too for Jeffrey. That's why these files ain't coming out. Well, there's that. But also some of these pageants are where people like Erica Kirk came from. Somebody said a rumor that J.D. Vance was at the island too, but not as a customer, but as a victim, because not all of Jeffrey Epstein's clients like girls. So, I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not, but it would be an interesting theory nonetheless. One that might be couched in some truth, right? Sorry. Let's see. Big Hook says, sounds like some. Thanks, Turtle Toes.
I like turtles.
Chad goes, I think the shutdown ends tomorrow afternoon. We'll see. And if the shutdown ends tomorrow afternoon and they don't get, if it's because the Democrats cave, the next show, I'm going to be very mad at my Democrats. I'm going to be very pissed off at them for, but if it ends because they use a nuclear option, because Donald Trump has urged them to, then we're going to attack Donald Trump and the Republicans for, cheating. And yes, I know the Democrats used the nuclear option as well to end the filibuster on certain things. And when that happened, I was also critical of the Democrats when they did it, because the nuclear option is based on a lie. Does anybody in chat need an explanation of what the nuclear option is? If you don't, I don't want to preach to the choir. But if anybody does need an explanation or a primer on what the nuclear option is, I'd be more than happy to tell you. Chad goes, I predict the Dems will cave on a promise to work to healthcare subsidies. And that's so stupid. That would be so stupid, because why would you ever believe a promise from the Republicans? There's no reason to believe any promises from the Republicans that you would, I think what Thune said was that he would promise to allow them to have a debate and a vote. That doesn't mean that it's going to pass, but it'll give them a debate and a vote. And the debate will be quick and the vote will be no. So if the Democrats believe the debate and a vote is somehow giving them anything, they're a bunch of fucking morons, and I'll absolutely be calling for Schumer to step down at that point. Let's see. F ice chingala migra. No one's illegal on stolen land. Thank you, Kimchi. Exactly. But yeah, Big Hook says the Supreme Court heard arguments for Trump being allowed. I heard some different. I was listening to some of the arguments while I was working today, but there are some people who said that Kavanaugh made the Solicitor General admit to something that was amazing. But then maybe it was Roberts, but maybe they really do it at all. I don't know. We'll have to see on that one. But yeah. See, Trump is going to lose the tariff fight in the Supreme Court. At least the oral argument's not good for Trump. No, I mean, it didn't seem like even the conservative justices, especially like Amy Coney Barrett. Amy Coney Barrett has been much more reasonable as of the 5 conservatives that are there than I would have given her credit for. I still don't like her because, I admitted, or I basically predicted when Donald Trump was running for office in 2016 that if Donald Trump became president and if Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, that not only would Donald Trump replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with a Republican or with a conservative justice, that it would specifically be Amy Coney Barrett. And I was right. But let me bring this picture up real quick because I want to show you exactly, while that prediction I think was one of my really good ones, I think that prediction was a really good one on my behalf because, you know, how many other people were saying Donald Trump will get to replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with Amy Coney Barrett? Who would have thought that? You know, who else were making? I mean, very few, if anybody, would have thought that. But let's open up this. Let's open up this image in a new tab. Come on. Or just, no, that's not what I want. Why is it not? Maybe we'll pop it open in Adobe Express. We want to zoom. Let's zoom, shall we? So during the 2012 election, this, let's move myself over here to the other side so you can see this better. This was an article that was posted during the 2012 election. A prediction that if Obama loses, and that if we get Mitt Romney, the High Court will overturn Roe v. Wade 5-4. And that's literally what happened. I mean, Dobbs v. Jackson was technically 6-3, but only on parts. The parts that actually overturned Roe was 5-4. But if you want to see who the High Court was that they thought would do this, Roberts, Thomas, Scalia, Alito, and Kavanaugh. They had Kavanaugh on the Supreme Court that would overturn Roe v. Wade. That was their prediction back in 2012. When I saw this in my memories, the first time I saw this in my memories one time when Roe v. Wade actually was overturned and this came up, and I had to do a double take, a triple take, a quadruple take. I did so many takes that I could not believe that these people were so smart that they actually predicted that Kavanaugh would be on the Supreme Court. Now, that Kavanaugh would be named to the Supreme Court. Oh, wrong image. That Kavanaugh would be put on the Supreme Court, and that B, or wrong tab, I should say, and that B, that he would be part of the court that would overturn Roe v. Wade. So that is crazy, 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 crazy. Let's see. I mean, I did say that. I did wonder if Trucker John had been there or not, and say that Trucker John was there. But Trucker John is in the chat. Good to see you, Trucker John. Thank you for joining. 250 kilo ohm. Amy Vivian Coney Barrett couldn't remember all 5 rights in the First Amendment would be a question. Yeah, and that was problematic. But there's many other things that were problematic, including the fact that many of these Supreme Court justices who were Republicans said that they believed in stare decisis, especially on Roe v. Wade. Roe v. Wade was settled all the land. Blah 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 blah. Never thought of abortion. Blah blah blah. Guess what? No, you're stupid and you're terrible. And I think every one of them who lied about stare decisis should be impeached specifically for that as well. 250 kilo ohm says 51 votes wins, right? Basically, but well, actually 50 votes would be all that would be needed on the actual vote, with the tiebreaker being the chair, i.e. the vice president. But again, I'll go into, let's see. I don't think anybody else really said that they wanted to hear it, although I kind of missed it. Chad Bostic says the nuclear option does not need to go away. This is bad for both sides. And look, I was very critical because the Dems were the first one to pull that trigger and use the nuclear option first. And I was like, this is a stupid idea. You're opening the floodgates. You're opening Pandora's box. But, Roxanne goes, I haven't seen Wes in a very long time. Well, that's because he's not welcome on this show. Yes, child rape is terrible. But, you know, I wasn't trying to joke about J.D. Vance being on that. I was basically saying that somebody suggested that he could have been on the island as a victim, and that's also abhorrent because people need to be reminded that, you know, child sex trafficking doesn't just happen to young girls. Young boys are also harmed by it. So, apparently, MTG, old 6B, is threatening that once Congress goes back into session, that she's going to read the names off the list. And while, you know, she's an anti-Semite too, I will sit there and eat my popcorn while she names names. That's for darn sure. Let's see. I'm worried that a couple of the conservatives will retire during Trump and he'll pick 40-year-old. Yeah, that's also a worry that we must be, or that Trump will pass and then J.D. Vance will get to do it too. So, see, funny how Republicans always replace liberal great Supreme Court judges with their evil doppelgangers. Coney Barrett and Thomas are the insult to the great things that their predecessors ruled on. Exactly. See, Steve, I was lurking and pissing about on my phone. Well, don't piss on your phone. It won't work anymore. Sorry. Trucker John, let me ruck you, Trucker John. I was like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you posting? I'm like, oh, Trucker John, let me rock you, Trucker John. Let me rock you, that's all I want to do. Trucker John, baby, Trucker John, I feel for you. I feel for you. I think I love you. Anyway, hey Janelle, good to see you. Trucker John. Now I'm gonna see Trucker. You've got my earworm in my head, and now I'm gonna every time I see Trucker John, I'm gonna be like Trucker John. So you're to blame for that, Kimchi. I blame you wholeheartedly. Did Tim, when the crazy rich run out of things to spend money on, they're still not fulfilled, they tend to look into forbidden zone. Yep, exactly. Well, what do you have? What was it? Billie Eilish, who was rich in and of herself, but she basically stood there in front of a bunch of billionaires, asking them why they're billionaires. Like, why? Why are you billionaires? And Kimchi, nice liberal Dan. My work here is done. Yes, it is. With your evil grin. But yeah, I mean, Billie Eilish is sitting there talking about, asking billionaires, why are you billionaires? Because, like, what was it? Elon Musk could donate, like, what, half of his fortune? Half of his wealth? And he'd still be richer than the second most rich person in the world? Like, there is no reason for that person to have so much wealth, so much value. There's no reason for it. It's just hoarding at this point. Like, we've had tales about the dragons that hoard wealth. We have tales about that. Like, there's reasons why people tell those allegories. There's reasons why people talk about, the sin of greed. The 7 deadly sins. The Republicans will often talk about, conservatives, Christian conservatives specifically will talk about how it's bad to have envy. It's bad to have sloth. It's bad to have all of those 6 of the sins, but they stop at greed. Why is that? Because as John Fugelsang will often say, that greed is that these conservative people are not actually quoting the Bible. They're not actually believing in Scripture. They're rejecting Scripture out of hand. And if you want to buy John Fugelsang's book, you can go to the show description here on YouTube on liberaldanradio.com for every live episode. And in that description, you will see a link to the Amazon.com page where you could buy a copy of John Fugelsang's book as well, that he talked about here on this show on Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from Left, That's Right. And Jolie is at least one of the people who did buy the book via my link. So kudos and shouts out to you, Jolie, for not just being one of the best 2 mods on the planet, but for also using my affiliate link to buy the book. Steve goes, oh, Dan, what are you Danning me for the Trucker John thing? Trucker John. Trucker John. Hey, TV2 Live, good to see you. Thank you for stopping by. I believe most of Elon's wealth is locked up in company shares. Well, yeah, but still, there's no reason for it. And the reason he does that is, yeah, his wealth is tied up. His wealth is locked up in company shares, but does that really count or matter if he can then use those shares as collateral to get loans on, and then live off of those loans, and then use to pay off loans with other loans to get more money, lather, rinse, repeat, so that he could use that as collateral to live on, but he doesn't have to pay any taxes on the loans because loan money is not income, and therefore you don't get taxed on it. So that is the problem with just shrugging off that his wealth is locked up in company shares, because it's not really, when you could use those company shares as collateral for loans and get spending money based off of that. And now he wants to be the world's first trillionaire. And I predicted that potentially during Donald Trump's second term that he would potentially have the opportunity to become the world's first trillionaire. And now he's trying to convince Tesla to make it so. So let's see. I think I just said the same thing that Chad just said. But our words were probably crossing each other in the night. Strangers in the night, exchanging glances. Of course, if this was Liberal Dan Radio After Dark, I might sing strangers in the night, exchanging fluids.
Oh my.
Anyway. Oh, the pissing on the phone one. Okay, there you go. There you go. See, I say so much funny stuff that I can't even remember which funny things I said when people react to it. Because they're just boom, 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 right in a row, right? I mean, clearly I'm not as funny as Hal. Shouts out to Hal and his family for everything, that they're going through. Lots of love for Hal. So, yeah, basic coding 101. Scrooge McDuck Money Vault. Yeah, Scrooge McDuck. Life is like a hurricane here in Duckburg. Race cars, airplanes. It's a duck world. Might solve a mystery or rewrite history. DuckTales. Woo! Actually, crossing the streams saved the universe, right? In Ghostbusters, they did cross the streams. They were worried that crossing the streams would be a problem, but as long as we're not crossing streams at the same urinal, I guess that's the thing. So. See, Norway's 401 investment board said they will vote no on Elon's $1 trillion buyout. That's good. Or someone would say, no, Ray. But yes, poor Hal, definitely thinking good thoughts to him, sending all my thoughts his way. Yeah, they should post the 250 kilo. They should post the 7 deadly sins on schools' walls instead of the 10 Commandments. Well, Governor Landry had that passed here in Louisiana. Well, we're going to put the 10 Commandments up in the school wall, and it's not even the right 10 Commandments, because it's the one that's in the Christian Bible and not the actual OG 10 Commandments, because for some reason they're different. Go figure. That's what happens when you retcon things. That's what happens when you try and do a soft reboot, or a hard reboot, if you will, of a religion. I know his dad was at his house in hospice, but I had not heard whether or not the dad passed or not, so I'm not sure. I'm sure Jolie or Aaron could let us know which one is correct, or if it happened or not. So Bonnie says no. Okay, thank you, Bonnie. So there's that. Oh, yeah. What else do I want to talk about? This. Let's get this bigger and wider. Move myself back over here to my normal area, my normal real estate on the screen. Donald Trump. This is from Brian Tyler Cohen's YouTube page, but Donald Trump was being interviewed by CBS.
This year, the president has pardoned or shortened the sentences of more than 1,600 people. The latest pardon was for a cryptocurrency tycoon who is known as CZ. The company CZ founded Binance.
CZ is my wife's initials too. I wish she could be, she should get all that money. She should find a way to get all of CZ's money and be the real CZ, the awesome CZ, if you will.
Helped boost the profile of the Trump family's crypto firm, World Liberty Financial. He pled guilty in 2023 to violating anti-money laundering laws.
Right.
The government at the time said that CZ had caused significant harm to U.S. national security, essentially by allowing terrorist groups like Hamas to move millions of dollars around. Why did you pardon him?
Okay, are you ready? I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is, but I pardon him. Here's the thing. I would love to hear Chad chime in on this one. If you don't know who somebody is, why would you pardon him? If you don't know who somebody, like, I get the blanket part. I mean, I don't agree with the blanket pardon for the J6 people, but at least he understood who the J6 people were, right? I mean, I don't agree with the fact that he pardoned everybody, including people that assaulted police officers, but at least he knew in general who those people were. You know, they were his people. They were his, you know, brown shirts. They were his people that took part in his own attempt to do a beer hall putsch. But he knew who they were. But Donald Trump didn't know who this individual was, yet he still signed the pardon for him. And the conservatives and the Republicans and the MAGA types want to tell us that, lecture us about Biden and his so-called auto pen and other people controlling the auto pen and not having anything happen during, you know, not Biden not knowing who was getting pardoned and what was getting signed or this, that, and the other. Meanwhile, Trump doesn't know who somebody is and still pardons him. If I was president of these United States of America, and if I was going to have somebody put a name in front of me to give a pardon to, I would at least want to know who the person was, why they think that they deserve a pardon, why others think that they deserve a pardon, and then judge that accordingly. But apparently, you know, this guy, I mean, maybe his son's told him, Dad, please, Dad, pardon CZ. He needs to be pardoned because he gave us all this Bitcoin money and he helped us out. Who cares if he helped worldwide terrorism? Screw him.
I know he got a 4-month sentence or something like that, and I heard it was a Biden witch hunt.
In 2025,
it was a Biden witch hunt that he was helping criminals, you know, whatever. Chad goes, he pardoned on his son's request. There you go. As I said, again, I saw words crossing. Strangers in the night. My opinion is it was done, and my opinion is it was done and looks fishy. I disagree with him doing it. There you go. See, Chad can be reasonable. So, yeah, I didn't know who someone was, and yet I married her. That's a whole completely different thing, Jeff. A whole completely different thing. I mean, you knew you at least you knew who you thought she was. Maybe you were wrong about it, but you at least knew who you thought she was. The Republican administration always screw up on purpose. Basically, yes, basic coding.
His
exactly.
crypto exchange Binance helped facilitate a $2 billion purchase of World Liberty Financial's stablecoin. And then you pardoned CZ. How do you address the appearance of pay for play?
Well, here's the thing. I know nothing about it because I'm too busy doing the other.
But he got a pardon.
He's too busy doing the other. Doing the other what? He's too busy doing the other what? What kind of word salad was that? I was too busy doing the other. Was he thinking about who he's cheating on Melania with now?
But
he got a
no,
pardon.
I can only tell you this. My sons are into it. I'm glad they are because it's probably a great industry.
Remember when Donald Trump said that crypto was a scam and it shouldn't be allowed? But now he's profiting from it and benefiting from it, and he's allowing other people, not just CZ, but to helping prop up his own son's World Liberty Financial, but he's also helping other people, you know, buy now the Trump cryptocurrency and then getting, you know, paid on that. So now he's all for it, and once he realizes that not only can he use it to enrich himself, but he can use it to enable himself to be able to enable foreign interests to influence him legally.
Crypto, I think it's good. You know, they're running a business. They're not in government.
Because you were this.
They're not in government. They're not in government whatsoever. I keep hitting the wrong thing. So yeah. So Trump, just another example of Donald Trump's corruption. So Kimchi, I thought what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, except for herpes. Although I never did contract herpes in Vegas, so you know, Never did anything in Vegas except for hang out on Fremont Street for a bunch and then go to a work conference or whatever. I gamble a little bit. So, yeah, the other. Take a look at that thing is bigly. I think according to Stormy, it wasn't that bigly. Kimchi, in that case, what happens in Arkansas stays in Missouri. Yes, the extra spicy hour of between Kimchi and Jeff, the Kimchi Curry extra spicy hour is definitely would be a much watch, much listen to, much see TV. Wait, I don't want to trample on NBC's intellectual property, right? Herpes and Kash Patel. Ooh. Well, isn't he just one giant herpy though? Really? I'm not saying that he has it, but just that he is one or looks like one. I mean, I guess I've never gotten that close to a herpes sore to really understand or know. But then, well, that's actually probably not true. I didn't touch it, but that was. Maybe that's another story that could be told for Liberal Dan After Dark. But there was a game I used to play on my phone, and I would go drive around. It was a precursor to Pokemon Go, and I would drive around and blah 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 blah. One thing led to another. I'm at this hotel, just in a parking lot, trying to play the game, and all of a sudden this person is stumbling, and I roll down my window, and I'm like, "Can I help you?" And they're like, "Do you need any assistance or whatever?" And then she propositions me for something that I was not going to, accept the proposition for. But yeah, it was like nobody should have, because you could see just the growths on her face from whatever she was doing, what she was doing. And yeah, it was gross. After all, Cash has that wandering eye. So does Trump. That's what they have in common. My nephew gave me crabs. My husband too. They're a story we could draw on for laughs. I love crabs. I love I love getting crabs. I'm from Maryland originally. Of course we love crabs, right? Hey Roxanne, Kimchi and Jeff, you keep promising us a show, but maybe I should just have an hour of Liberal Dan Radio, and I can have my video chat thing and have both Kimchi and Jeff on the video chat just having fun, and I could just sit back and moderate. Maybe enjoy something that Chad sends me whilst going on. See, is Bonholio in the witness protection program or dead? I haven't seen him in weeks. But, when you do see him, and if he sees his shadow, there's 6 more weeks of fascism at least. Or months, or years, or whatever. So. Speaking of Republican hypocrisy, this person could have been this week's Hypocrite of the Week if I don't already have a Hypocrite of the Week this week. Randall County GOP chair charged with felony election fraud. Because every conservative accusation is a confession. Kelly Giles, KKG, just a few letters short from being KKK. I'm sure he's upset about that. Age 64, is accused of providing false information on his application and petition to run for the Randall County Republican Party chair seat. The chair of the Randall County Republican Party was booked into jail Monday on a state felony election fraud charge. Kelly Giles, 64, is accused of providing false information on his application and petition to run for the Randall County Republican Party chair seat in December 2023 for a spot on the 2024 primary ballot. According to the grand jury indictment signed late last month, it's unclear what about his application or petition was considered fraudulent. The offense is typically classified as a misdemeanor, but because Giles is accused of doing it while serving as elected official, it becomes a felony. Giles did not respond to my request for comment, nor did anyone else within the Randall County Republican Party. The Texas Republican Party chairman, Abraham George, said that he learned of the allegations Tuesday. The Republican Party of Texas is steadfastly committed to upholding election integrity, except for when, you're going to redraw maps to steal more seats from the Republicans or from the Democrats, causing people to have less of a say in your state, thus causing the Californians to act in kind. I am resolute in my duty to ensure that our commitment to securing Texas elections is upheld, which entails conducting elections with integrity by our elected party officials. Bullshit! Sorry. Giles' arrest comes after years of Texas Republicans cracking down on election integrity. Cracking down on election integrity or just screwing over the integrity of their own elections. So, despite no evidence of such widespread fraud, the crackdown escalated days ago when a former Democratic State House candidate was indicted along with 9 others for alleged vote harvesting in South Texas. Chairman was reelected to his GOP chairmanship seat in 2024 March primary with 51% of the vote against 2 opponents, Brianne Maxwell and Pat Bolender. He was originally elected to a seat in 2023 by the County Executive Committee, according to Amarillo Tribune. Giles' indictment was handed down June 25th and a warrant was issued. He was booked into Randall County Jail and has since been released according to the jail log. This case is being prosecuted by the Texas AG Office of Election Integrity after Randall County District Attorney recused his office. There you go. So more Republican accusations that end up to be confessions. See you's in chat. Good to see you. See you. Good to see you. See you. Scotty, good to see you as well. Thank you for joining. We own the house. We were newlyweds. The end. Don't judge. Wait, what? I think I've missed something here because Kimchi went from crabs to talking about owning the house or whatever. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on right now. Anyway. Why don't we do this? Why don't, if Big Hook wants the opportunity to call in, I don't know if you're on too many pain pills or whatever at this point, but if you want to call in, if anybody else wants to call in, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-LIBDAN1, 562-542-3261. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. More than happy to have Big Hook call in. I'm mid-thread. I guess so. Things just scroll. So I guess sometimes I miss things as they scroll. I guess that happens because, you know, sometimes I'll post something on your show thread, and like 20 minutes later, you'll get to the comment that I posted, and I'll be like, "Yeah, I'm still here." So, Kimchi, what happened was, so yeah, you see what happened was, while we're waiting for anybody to call in, Big Hook or anybody else at 562-542-3261, 562-LIBDAN1. Apparently, they are going to reduce flights by 10% because of the issues that are happening, probably because of the shutdown, because of the UPS plane crash, which has, you know, now caused the deaths of at least 12 people, maybe more since the show started. I don't know what they found out. But yeah, so we have the issue of, you know, people dying in the skies or from actually falling from the skies at, you know, what was it, Muhammad Ali Airport or whatever, taking off from there and heading to Honolulu, Hawaii, I think. Has anybody made a float like a butterfly joke? Because I don't know if it's appropriate yet. Anyway, Big Hook, how's it going? How are you?
Hanging in there on one leg.
I'll be with you in 8 days.
Yeah, I know. Don't recommend it, let me tell you. It's not something I wished upon myself. It was an unfortunate thing, and still waiting to see how it's all going to play out. I got to see the orthopedic surgeon on Monday. So, and hoping that the pain level by
somebody
that
says
time
250 kilo says peg leg Big Hook. Arg. Yeah, you could be a pirate. Look at that. Anyway.
Yeah, well, I soon will be. I got to get I ordered some stuff to help with the recovery and whatnot, and a Vacabed orthopedic boot for Achilles tendon rupture tears, and that was quite expensive. So you know, trying to accommodate myself, getting around on crutches is a real hassle. So, but you know, that's the way it is. I got a splint on right now, which basically has me with my foot fully projected, so that way the ends will hopefully, if it's a partial tear, that they will somehow restore themselves at some point, or at least whatever, facilitate a faster recovery, or also just to make sure that the ends don't get too far apart from each other till the orthopedic surgeon decides what the necessary course of what to do next is, which might be a surgery for reattachment, but we'll see.
But don't whatchamacallit, don't let anybody be cruel to you because don't over those ends, because the ends shouldn't justify the means, right? Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Big Hook is going to hang up on me now because of my terrible joke. Anyway, go on, continue.
No. It's not like that. I was very pleased with the election results last night. It was the ultimate middle finger to Donald Trump, and him saying, "Oh, it's all because I wasn't on the ballot." It's exactly because you were on the ballot, because it was basically us telling you what we thought of you and all your policies and whatnot, and all the headaches that you're creating for everybody who hasn't got money to spend and throw your way in deference to crimes you probably have committed and just haven't been caught for yet. So that way, can you imagine what the pardon list is going to look like when this MFer goes? I mean, that's what's going to get me. It's going to be the longest pardon list in human history for the United States. All the people that he's going to have to throw pardons for, who, let alone all the people that are going to basically, within this administration, who are going to basically say, when you leave on that plane, I want to reserve a seat and go wherever it is you're going, which will probably most likely be a non-extradition country. And
when he goes to Argentina to visit all the other former Nazis.
Yep, pretty much. That's the way I see it anyway. I'm sure that's what he's doing. He's basically feathering his nest so that way he can do everything that he does. I mean, I don't know anymore. I mean,
he's going to need a pardon for himself, though, too. He's going to need a pardon for himself because he's blatantly going up against judicial rulings, too. I mean, the judges said that he has to spend the SNAP funds, the contingency funds that were allocated and appropriated by Congress, for SNAP benefits if something like this ever happened. And now he's basically saying, I'm not going to spend those funds until the government stops the shutdown. But once the government's no longer shut down, you don't need the contingency funds because he's a fucking moron.
Yeah, but that's the thing as well, which is that, as my understanding, it is Congress has the power of the purse, which means that they decide where the funds go. And I don't think he can really do anything to stop that. I don't think that's supposed to be within his power or purview.
Well, as I talked about the last show, when President Biden was choosing to not build the border wall because he disagreed with it, and a federal judge in Texas basically told him, no, these funds were appropriated, you need to spend them as they were appropriated, and then instead of fighting it, Biden said, okay. Biden should have fought it to basically get a Supreme Court ruling on that, so that it went to the Fifth Circuit, but it should have went all the way up to the Supreme Court, so they could have fought it and then said, okay, but now one judge said you cannot choose to not spend appropriated allocated funds or whatever, and now Trump's doing the exact same damn thing, and he's just ignoring the fact that the judge are telling him these were appropriated, you must spend them in the manner for the reasons that they're appropriated, and you can't just choose to not spend them. So
yeah, but you're talking hindsight is 20/20. I mean, you always regret things that you didn't do when you were in power.
Back then I also wanted him to fight it. Back then I also wanted him to fight it all the way to the Supreme Court because, I was actually, kind of thinking, well, what if he's true? What if he's right? What if he doesn't have to spend it? What if he does have that authority? But so far the courts have told him no, and have told Trump no. So apparently there is at least agreement amongst the courts that presidents can't do this. It's unfortunately just not judicial precedent, so that it doesn't apply nationwide, which sucks.
Yeah, but the funny part is that when it was abandoned, and before that, I mean, all those pieces of the wall that were already prefabricated were sold off and supposedly for scrap, and then the people that bought it as scrap apparently went and turned around and sold it back to Trump for a profit. I mean, that's what's sad. I mean, everything is a fucking grift with him. That's the whole thing, you know.
It's par for the
You know,
course.
it's you know, the whole thing is mob rules, politics. You know, it's he essentially he considers himself the Godfather Don, you know, and that's the thing. It's you can't really work with this thing. I mean, I'm wondering, I hope, or at least I could dream anyway, that this would be the last hurrah of the Republicans, because at this point, their reputation is complete shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just it. You know, I mean, all the awful things that they've done and then said, oh, well, if you were in power, you would do this to us, and that's never the case. Because whenever they accuse something of us, it turns out that they've already done it before, and it's just basically, you know, pointing fingers at the other person when all the other fingers are pointed at them, you know, and I mean, that's just it.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, you look at all the things that they've done in terms of, you know, denying children school lunches and other things like that. And then the school vouchers, which was basically another grift to get, you know, the money out of the public school system, so that way it could go to their billionaire benefactors and whatnot who will, you know, scrape money out of that. You know, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's always about privatization of public services, because the rules are set so that way public services will fail if not properly funded. And then they go, oh, but you don't want to pay taxes, do you? You don't want to have necessary services and pay for them. And it's like, yeah, the rest of the world operates on that principle, you stupid fucks, you know, and where do you go with this? And Chad, yes, this is what I'm talking about. I get it. You have your principles and whatnot, but the thing is that those principles, when they end up hurting other people all the time, and you allow it to happen, and that's the problem. Once you cross a line, it becomes easier to cross the next line, which is to be more and more cruel. And this is the thing. The Republicans have done this over and over and over again. And, you know, it's ridiculous, the excuses that you guys come up for doing this stuff. Oh, well, you know, it would cost us money in taxes to feed hungry children in schools, but that would also feed my kids daily and mean I wouldn't have to pack them a lunch or anything. So I might actually benefit from it too. But no, that thought never occurred to me. Right. Oh God. You know, I mean, like, you know, and that's what gets me. You know, I mean, things that work. I mean, you look at Minnesota there, and I mean, God bless the Tim. You know, he just basically has it right. He looks and sees the need and figures out a way to make government fill the void. And, you know, and that's just it. And as a result, Minnesota is one of the best places in America to be in, you know. And, you know, he's guaranteed breakfast, lunch, and a dinner takeaway if they need it at the end of the day after school is finished. You know, and I mean, that's responsible governing. You know, because let's face it, the parents, all parents are out there working their asses off. They barely have enough time to be parents, let alone anything else on top of the financial constraints that are already going on in your country. I mean, that's just it. It's just ridiculous. And I mean, that's just it. Because all the wealth goes to the billionaires. And what are they going to do with all that money? It doesn't do anything. You can only buy so many freaking jets and yachts and other things. I mean, but you can only ride on one at a time, you know?
Right.
But,
well,
you
maybe
know,
they should try and convince them to have like one leg on one wing and the other leg on the other wing, and like dare them to try and do something crazy and then hope for the best.
you know what I'm saying? The thing is that money, I mean,
hold on.
how
Somebody
is
in
it
chat.
they say,
Wait, I got to give shout out right now to assistant manager of Antifa. Hashtag Blue Cocky 2026. I love it. That's hilarious. Anyway, go on. Continue.
the funny part is that, you know, like they said that after you've basically gone and accumulated as much as $10 million, you basically have everything that you could possibly want. You have the fanciest house, you have the fanciest car, you have the means to, if you don't want to own a jet, you could rent a jet.
Right.
You know, and that's just it. So what's the point of any money beyond the $10 million? And at that point, it just becomes, and this is the other thing, you know, because what ends up happening when all these people get all this money? What happens? They go fucking crazy and they perform evil things. I mean, why do you think all the pedophiles and the Epstein files are billionaires and multimillionaires? You know, because they get bored. Oh, I wonder what would happen if I, you know, had sex with children. Oh, what would happen if I killed somebody? Oh, what would, you know, and I mean, that's just it.
Well, it's an addiction. They're addicts. They are no better or probably worse than drug addicts, because at least with drug addicts, the harm that they cause is minimal. Usually it's either to themselves or to the people just around them. These people cause harm to almost everybody, because again, by hoarding all that wealth, they take away the possibility. They are basically keeping the money for themselves and not sharing it around and not making sure that people, you know, who help them become billionaires to not get livable wages and shit. So,
well, that's just it. You know, I mean, share the wealth is, you know, how a healthy society works. Mm-hmm. You know, and the thing is that I don't know. I mean, either whether it's nature or nurture, or they were just born sociopaths and psychopaths, or, you know, I mean, I don't know what to say about these people. I mean, the worst part is knowing is you always have to be prepared to expect the worst from them. Mm-hmm. And to try to prepare in advance. And that's something that is almost impossible to completely comprehend. It's like, you know, I mean, how the old saying goes, it's you hope for the best, you prepare for the worst, and you deal with what comes. And the thing is that, you know, tell me, who would have predicted all the shit that Donald Trump has pulled off so far? Who could have predicted all the things that he was going to do, and all the schemes and the grifts and everything? Who had it on their bingo card that Donald Trump would decide, oh, you know what, I'm going to use hunger as a tool? Although, I mean, let's face it, it's not an original idea. He obviously stole it from Netanyahu.
Right. D.B. Golding was me in 2015, and I was going to throw in me and Hal Sparks in 2016. So...
You know, but that's just...
But not even... I mean, we predicted some of it. I mean, I will pat myself in the back and say, look, I told y'all so. But even then, I didn't predict all of it. But maybe if you took, like, D.B. Golding and myself and Hal and maybe a few other people, you combine all of our theories, we would probably nail at least most of it, at least most of the important ones, right?
Yeah, but that's the same thing. I mean, you look at... you know, they said, oh, well, what do you do, like, when you're Osama bin Laden and you're hiding in a cave, 18 hours a day, you know, and all you got to do with your time is dream up these horrible things to do to the rest of the world and whatnot, and plot and plan and whatnot. And it's like, and that's, you know, I mean, that's the thing. Trump had a 4-year hiatus where he wasn't in power, and that's what he did. He basically went and dreamt up all this crazy shit to do, and then on top of that, he said, oh, you know what, I'm not smart enough to come up with really, thoughtful evil. So, you know, let's go to the masters of this and employ the Heritage Society and and start implementing Project 2025, because they've been at this far longer than I have in terms of the white supremacist agenda that the white billionaires want to put upon us, and I mean, that's just it. That's what they did. I'm kind of encouraged by what Texas Paul said, though. He said that, Project 2025 is going to fail completely. Now, the problem I have is that if we do not hold these people accountable and set such a high bar of making an example of them and making it so that way the history books never forget that these people did these things, it's going to be rinse, lather, and repeat.
Yep.
And that's the problem. There are enough stupid people who have the memory of a goldfish and will elect these stupid MFers again and let them do their worst. And then you think Trump is on a retribution campaign. They will be even worse because they have him to follow as an example. And I mean, let's look at it. I mean, he's basically following the Hitler playbook as well as the Netanyahu playbook. I mean, that's what's sick about it is, like, Netanyahu is basically, for a guy who claims he's a Jew and that the Holocaust shall never happen again to Jews, he's doing exactly
to Jews
to the
is the key word.
What?
Like, he should know better. He should know better, but he probably does know better. He just doesn't give a shit, which is one of the reasons why I've been critical of Netanyahu since well before 10/7. So.
Yeah, but like I said, this is where we're at, and this is the problem. Like, we need to heed the warnings of people, because that's the thing. Like, when Trump came down the escalator and he did that thing where he basically said all Mexicans are rapists and criminals and whatnot. And
some of them are good people.
And that was,
some of them.
And that was like my first real look at Donald Trump. And at which point I went, this guy's a psychopath.
Right.
I said it. I felt it in my soul. I've got the psychopath vibe from him. And I said, this guy is going to make human suffering a new, sport. And that's just it. That's what he's done. I mean, he's going and dismantling all the social safety net mechanisms that are there. And I mean, let's face it, he's going to try and dismantle Social Security next. He's going to take everything away from people. And like Chad, no offense, but I think you sort of revealed that you're on disability or something like that. I'm not sure. But you realize you're in his crosshairs as well. And to think that, and for you to think that, oh, he won't come after me because I voted for him, ask
a lot of people
Latin American people.
Yeah. A lot of people are learning that that's not true, and they have now regretted their decision. They are mid leopard face eating.
Well, that's just it, and all the Latin American people who thought that Trump was going to do something and that he was only going to come after the criminals within their racial group and deport them, so that way that they would come out looking squeaky clean and through on the other side. And guess what? What he said he was going to do and what he actually did were two different things, because he's deporting as many of them as possible and as fast as he can, and he's not giving them a trial. He's not giving them anything. And then I'll bet you he's putting them all on planes, and he's basically burning all the paperwork afterwards, so that way there's no way to know who he deported, where they were deported to, and he's basically going to hide all the evidence of his crimes, and that's just it. That's what worries me. is that we will, if we're lucky, we will only know 5% of all the crap that this guy has pulled off.
Right.
And you know, maybe that'll be enough to hold him liable, but even then, I'm not holding out hope for that, because I bet you one of two things is going to happen. Either he will die before he has to face consequences, or two, he's going to jump on that fucking plane and go to a non-extradition country like Argentina, and
when
give
you
us
say
all
the
the
fucking
middle
plane, you
and
mean
give
the
us all
Qatari one, right?
yes, and give us all the middle finger as he exits. You know, probably with boxes and boxes of American secrets that he can then sell off to the highest bidder, and go from there. You know, because at that point, you know, and then he will leave his whatever his family legacy is abroad. You know, maybe they'll all move to Monte Carlo or something like that and spend their money that way and live in the lap of luxury. I mean, it's ridiculous, the stuff that you see going on now. I'm not really sure what to make of it. I mean, the thing is that I hope you guys can take back your democracy and figure out a way to make your government work and restore services and whatnot. I still think the FDR plan seems to be the way to go. You know, let them keep their $1 billion and then tax the rest of it all at 92% and say, listen, you got more than enough to live off. That's it. You know, you can't just hoard money and not pay into the social safety net and help everyone. And the thing is that it's not a huge ask anymore, because the thing is if the rest of society does better, then their businesses do better, because that means you have more customers. What are you doing right now? You're basically killing all your customers because you keep making people poorer and everything else, and you keep degrading the infrastructure. I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to get on a plane and leave the country? Maybe that's the case. I don't know. I don't know, because that's the thing. I don't trust any of them. You know, they operate on different moral principles than all the rest of us. You know, this unfettered free enterprise capitalism, which, you know, is, you know, bullshit. You know,
Yep.
It has to be it has to be, you know, capitalism with regulation as well as enrichment of society through taxes, and, you know, and the government doing the job of making people's lives better, whether it be through the EPA or any of the other things, you know, and whatnot, you know. I mean, I don't know. I'm stuck here by myself now, and I can barely hobble around. So, of course, I'm extra miserable these days.
Have they given you at least any sort of good pain medicine or whatever?
No.
That's
no.
terrible.
I'm basically in a splint. I have a dull ache. So it's you know, I don't know. Like, one leg is my regular leg, and then the other is basically in a splint and basically a ballerina pointed toe. Basically, that's where I sit right now. So, at any rate, but yeah, no, I'm happy that the elections happen. Let's follow through with all this stuff, and you know, the only way that this works is if you tell the politicians that what you want, and making sure that they follow through. Because if they don't follow through, it's meaningless. And you can't. And the only way, and we know the answer to eliminating a lot of this, and that's to get rid of the dark money, make it so that way it's illegal for lobbyists and all the rest of it. You know, and let's put scientists in charge. You know, let's not put these fucking fools in charge. RFK is the worst. I mean. And now he wants to put, what is it, the other lady in that position? You know, I mean, that's just, as the Surgeon General, I mean, God almighty, they picked the worst fucking people. I mean, I thought Florida was bad with that Lapido or whatever his name is. I mean, he's just a fucking joke. I mean, I don't know. Snake oil salesman of the worst kind, you know? I mean, I don't, you know, like, you get these people, they go to the highest learning institutions, then they go and they turn around and then they say, see, I went to the best school, therefore I know everything. And it's like, yeah, and your policies are shit.
Right.
For a guy who went to school to get smarter, you in fact, what you learned and what you put into practice are completely opposite. You know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, like they're like building houses with straw, you know. Oh gee, well, you know, and they don't even have the building principles behind them. They don't believe in a foundation. They don't believe in, you know, protecting anything. They don't know how to do any of the stuff. You know, I mean, that's just it. You know, they don't. For guys that are so smart, you know, like I said, like with Grassley, he's been in this institution since forever. I mean, God, he's almost fucking 100 years old, and look at his state. His state is one of the worst. Iowa is just falling apart like crazy, you know. And even the governor from before has basically said, "Oh, I'm not going to run again because guess what? Everybody knows exactly what I did, which was absolutely nothing, and I'm going to be probably criminally investigated as to why I didn't do things in the public interest later on." You know, I mean. That's just it. Boy, that plane is going to have a lot of people, and there's going to, like I said, the pardon list that Trump is going to hand down for so many people is just, and that's the thing.
We can always hope that it ends like Die Hard 2.
Yeah, but
obscure reference maybe for some people, since that's not the best Die Hard, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, but but the thing is that without accountability, how does society move forward and get better?
Right.
And that's the thing. Republicans don't believe in accountability. They believe in accountability from Democrats.
Right.
And say, oh, well, you know, practice what you preach. And then it's like, but we won't. And that's just it. That's where the hypocrisy
rules for me
is.
And not for thee. That's why.
Yes,
that's why I have Hypocrite of the Week. Although I'm bad about making it every week, but still.
Exactly, and that's just it. You know, that's the thing. When I see people that do stuff and they say stuff, and it's like, yeah, but you know, the pot calling the kettle black basically comes to mind. But the problem is that, like, it's like they said, you know, like John Fugelsang said. He said, name one Christian principle that the Trump administration has followed, or one teaching of Jesus that the Trump administration or Republicans have followed. Right. And you can't find it.
And the sad thing is, when he was on MSNBC, and giving his spiel on there, and like all the hosts and all the other guests were like all like shocked and kind of like, you know, oh my God, I can't believe he's actually saying these things. And I'm like, well, A, he's a comedian, so you shouldn't be that shocked. And B, he's right, so you shouldn't be that shocked. Like, he's actually telling the truth on your network, something that, you know, they've hesitated on because they don't want to lose access, like, you know, frickin' Joan Mika. Well, oh, wait, I'm sorry, it's going to be MS Now, right? It's MS Now instead of MSNBC, or at least it will be in a few weeks or something, because they're rebranding.
Yeah.
I guess they want to get rid of the ability to say MSDNC, so they'll just come up with something new, some new stupid thing, because, you know, Trump's a child. But
yeah, but I mean, CBS, I don't know what they're going to do. You know, like that Nora interview thing was a disaster. She didn't press him on anything. There was no follow through. There was no nothing. It was just basically ask him a question and just accept his stupid answer as what it was. I mean,
Well, that's what he did for the Axios one as well. When Moran was interviewing him for Axios, he was basically just Moran was just basically quoting, like, you know, the administration's statistics on things like immigration, and I was like, why aren't you questioning the numbers? Like again, like they're unwilling to actually dig in deep and realize what's going on, and that nothing you can believe, nothing that this administration says is believable at all. There's no reason, and if you believe it, you're just like Charlie Brown with the football and Lucy. So,
well, like I said, I individual content creators who are and even comedians are doing a better job of reporting the news and everything than some of the mainstream media outlets right now. I will say this.
That's why more people need to listen to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left. That's right.
Yes, but MSNBC, the nighttime lineup is still fairly decent. I mean, I listen to a large variety of voices, you know, whether it be, content creators. I listen to some more news. I also listen to Legia Miller. I listen to Texas Paul. I listen to Tom Powell Jr. This lady, Park Rose Permaculture, is another good one to follow. She's really on the ball there in the Oregon scene, as well as the Oregon ice stuff and whatnot. You know, and I mean, that's the thing. I follow Stephanie Miller in the morning. Because and Stephanie Miller for me is sort of like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, because she basically gives you the bad news, but with a comedic approach, and calls out the hypocrisy, because you're like, how could you not see how stupid this is,
Right.
and realize that, that the Republicans are doing this stuff in open sight, and that's the thing that Trump taught them is that if you do it out in the open and you say, yeah, I'm doing criminal shit, therefore you can't charge me with anything. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right.
You can't. And that's the thing. He said it in the beginning. He said, I can go out there and shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and I wouldn't lose any voters.
Yep.
What?
You probably gain some.
Like, where do you go from there? Like,
Trucker
where
John
do you
says
go from there?
Trucker John's like, what am I, chopped liver? With all the list of people that you listed off that you will listen to or watch.
Yeah, I know. Big Hook, the big Canuck. Yeah. Oh, gee. Did I? Would I take that as an insult, or I don't know why he keeps calling me Bigfoot now. I have no idea where that one came from. I mean, that's being told that I sound like Kermit the Frog. I mean, oh, geez.
There's sometimes where I don't hear it all the time, but you'll say a word or two and be like, okay, there's Kermit, but not a bad thing. There's worse people you could sound like, like Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, at least Kermit had empathy as well as morals, and he was teaching lessons of life that are valuable to people and children, right, and stuff. And that's the thing. They have lost everything. I mean, you went and you defunded PBS. You defunded, nonpartisan, fact-based journalism sources within the media. Right? I mean, what on earth are you thinking? Like, up here in Canada, we have CBC, which is basically a government-funded television station that basically does the same thing. It basically takes a nonpartisan view and basically reveals the facts and allows you to form your own opinion as to what's on. They will feature politicians and they'll allow them to have their say, but there is pushback when politicians tell lies or embellish something to the point where you can't let it slide, because otherwise you lose your integrity as a journalist or in the journalistic field. So, and that's just it. Like, we look at a problem, we face the problem, we figure out what problems may follow with the problem. We think about what the solutions are. We figure out what the costs will be. We go and present it to Parliament. We form a committee. We do all the things that are necessary to deal with it. And, and you guys have really lost it. You're going and you're taking down all those principles, which you basically led the world with, and made you that shining city on the hill that everybody wanted to go to. And now you're no longer that, because the shining city is the city that's on fire because Donald Trump is going around pouring gasoline on everything and lighting matches. And, how much of the government will be left at the end of this is,
Well,
but
speaking of which,
is,
I just saw something cross my newsfeed. The IRS direct file won't be available next year. The Biden administration had made it permanent, but all of the tax like H&R Block type folks, have basically lobbied Congress and the Trump administration enough to basically said, okay, we're going to get rid of this tool that hundreds of thousands of people have used to file their taxes, and now you're going to have to go through, I guess, the free filing through other companies, which is basically just them trying to get you to buy their product as well. It's like, oh, because you free file with us for the federal government, but you still have to pay for the state, which I never do. But still, point being, like Trump is just getting rid of another thing, another service that individuals use and have liked to use because he wants to pay back his cronies.
Well, like all the payday loan setters and whatnot. I mean, you went and you took them apart with the Financial Protection Agency, and now he's gone and taken that apart. He's going to do everything. He went and puts people who are in opposition in, it really says something when Republicans get into power and they take government agencies that are supposed to be nonpartisan and basically serve a scientific function, and they put in these political hacks who are basically against it and who have a corrupt past. And they say, oh, and these people will be in charge. And what do? They dismantle everything, and they find people that will say, the sky isn't blue anymore. It's whatever color I decide it is, and it's like, I don't know what you do with these people because they don't live in the reality like you and me. And that's the thing. If anything, it's a precursor for saying, yeah, we're mentally ill and we're going to break shit because we're not smart enough to figure out how it all works. Or, no, we don't want to protect other people because we are only looking at short-term financial goals that we want to meet, and it's like, and that's just it, they leave a mess behind all the time. And the Democrats have to come in and pick it up every single time, and they have to save the economy, they have to save the environment, they have to save everything. And the thing is that all these people that vote these people in are the same people who get sick from, lead poisoning and all the other things and all the water supplies being contaminated. I mean, you got a listeria outbreak now in the United States.
Right.
And you've got people dying right, left, and center. And why is that? Because
the FDA.
they got rid of a whole bunch of the inspectors and everybody else who's supposed to safeguard your food supply. And you said, oh, well, we don't need it anymore because we can trust capitalists. They will always look out for their customers. No, they don't. They don't look out for anybody. They put price increases in when it's not necessary. It's just like the tariffs. Oh, we'll tariff their goods. And then what do the American competitors do? They raise their prices up to just about 5% below what the tariffs on the other goods are, because now they can reap that profit as well without
Right.
being competitive anymore.
Exactly.
You know, and that's just it. You know, it's all about greed. They say one thing, but in fact, it does the other thing. And that's just it, you know. Like, I don't know how long you can take being screwed over. You know, I mean, I'm surprised that anybody in America can sit on a chair anymore at the point of how screwed over you guys have gotten for this long and this hard. You know, I mean.
But at least we showed some goddamn sense yesterday, right?
Yeah, but that
Hopefully
has to
that
be
lasts.
continue. That has to continue. The thing. The fact of the matter is that when you have a Congress who are complicit with the criminal and thief in POTUS right now, then what do? And that's the thing. All these people that are going along with everything that Trump says and defending everything that he does should be held criminally liable, but they aren't.
No.
And that's just it.
Because the criminals are in charge. They're not gonna go after the criminals who are their friends. So scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, right?
Yeah. I really worry about you guys. I really do. I know you have more than enough smart people there to fix it.
We just have far too many dumb people.
But it wouldn't need to be fixed if the Republicans stopped breaking stuff.
Right.
And accept reality of what works and what doesn't. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. Enriching billionaires does not help society.
Nope.
Giving tax breaks to people who don't need them is not a good function of society.
Right.
It's not a difficult process. You want to invest in people who will be the future. You know, you want to invest in people's education and everything else. You don't want to, and this AI stuff, once again, I'm having a really hard time looking at it and saying, oh, this is going to, you know, do whatever. I would be okay if AI was in the hands of real scientists and they were using it to solve real problems, as opposed to what it is right now, where it's just going to be used to basically decimate the workforce out there so that way billionaires can reap even more profits because they don't need it.
And create porn bots. Don't forget that every technology is used for porn somehow, right?
Yes. Well, I mean,
it is what it is.
Let's face it.
It is what it is.
They've always been on the cutting edge of technology, whether it be digital content or laser discs or, you know,
well, that's
DVDs
why they went with Blu-ray,
whatever.
Right? That's why they went with Blu-ray.
Yes.
Anyway,
I know.
Or that might have been gaming why they went with Blu-ray, but it might have been why they went with VHS. I don't know. Anyway, I'm probably going to get going soon. Any last words before we end this call, and I could just throw a couple more things because I am starting to get.
I'm proud that you guys showed up for the vote. Now carry it through. I think what's going to happen is that you guys have got to do more sustained local protests. And the other thing is you know, document ICE as much as you possibly can, you know, and do the smart things, you know, make sure that you got if you're going to do it on your cell phone, make sure it's either a burner cell phone or better yet, you don't have your SIM card in, you don't have your Wi-Fi enabled, you don't have your Bluetooth enabled, anything like that. So that way they can't go and turn your phone, you know, into a weapon against yourself, you know, and that sort of stuff. You know, I hate to say it, but we're sort of living like the real life version of the movie V, you know, the 1984 Orwellian, fantastical future, unfortunately, is here. And, you know, we have to put people in who are going to regulate this stuff and make sure that it actually benefits humanity instead of billionaires, because that's the problem. You know, That's where you guys stand. You stand on the precipice of either greatness or the failure of the human race. And that's just it. You know, so I don't know. I can only tell you what I see and what I think is coming, but, you know, in the end, it's up to you guys. My thoughts are just one of many, but, you know, and I don't want to be a doom and gloom guy. I want to look forward to a bright future for everybody. I want to be an eternal optimist. I want to be that person that everybody gets along with and whatnot, you know. I wish that were the case, but, you know, the problem is like when you let things slide and you continue to let things slide, you just keep slipping further and further down till you haven't got anywhere to go. You know, eventually you get too deep in the hole and there's no way of climbing out. And that's my worry is that you guys are on the precipice of digging the hole to the point where you got no way of climbing out.
Yep.
And,
An
insurmountable
hole.
It was, let's face it, it's been the accumulation of a 50-year plot of the Republicans to basically get us to this point, you know, and it's now or never, you know. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, thanks for your time,
you so much. You have
Dan, and
feel
I
better.
wish everybody in the chat the best. Okay.
I hope your appointment
My
on Monday
Achilles,
goes well, and you do better and start recuperating quickly.
Okay. Anyway.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
So big hook, everybody from the Great White North of Canada. Why is it that every time that big hook calls, I always just imagine like Leslie Nielsen saying,
I just want to tell you both, good luck. We're all counting on you.
That's sometimes I feel like, you know, that's like the end of every big hook call. Just want to tell you about good luck. We're all counting on you from Airplane. So, two things I did want to talk about before we head off. Somebody just messaged me. One of my friends messaged me earlier. Apparently, when the Louvre was robbed, that the password for the video surveillance system for the Louvre was literally Louvre, like Louvre, Louvre. So yes, what great security measures y'all had there at the Louvre there, guys. That's freaking hysterical. Also, speaking of Dick Cheney and his passing, this was on my Facebook feed as well. Pouring one out for Dick Cheney. Amazing. Just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Anyway, so thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate you. I was going to thinking of doing a couple more reaction videos to the coming to terms with, not coming to terms. Sorry, wrong playlist. The Unraveling Toxic Masculinity. Go look for that playlist if you want to watch. I have a bunch of videos on that thing. Eventually, I have a whole bunch of videos that I want to respond to. I just haven't done so yet. Anyway, you know, we are going to head off again and done anything huge. Actually, I don't even imagine I'm going to have the time to do a show because I'm finally getting to do the estate sale. This is over the weekend. Have plans Friday night. Probably going to be at my mother-in-law's house doing some work tomorrow night to kind of get ready for the estate sale. So the next time I think I'll probably have available to be online will be Monday anyway. So maybe I'll have a short video or something if something huge comes up. But thanks to everybody at Twitch. Thanks for everybody on YouTube. Appreciate each and every one of you for watching, for supporting the show, and doing everything that all y'all do for me. We'll end up with a couple of songs before we leave, but if you want to hear the playlist, they're on all of my songs from the intro to all the other songs that I've created or whatever. They're available here. They're also available on Spotify if you want to support the playlist. There's the GoFundMe in the chat if you want to help out with some of the familiar expenses that are coming up since everything's going on with my knee surgery coming up. I don't have any more costs medically involved, but there's still other things that are that need to be handled that I won't be able to handle simply because the fact that I'll be off my, I'll be back in physical therapy and not very mobile for the relatively near future. Although I hope that I'll be able to climb the stairs on the Monday, and I won't have to miss any more of the show, because the next day, last time, I was able to climb the stairs without an issue, slowly, but I was still able to climb the stairs to go take a shower, so I was still able to do the show on the Wednesday. So anyway, thanks everybody for all your support. Remember to go like videos, share, comment on them, help the algorithm, because Al Gore needs more rhythm. You'll be able to buy that t-shirt again once my I guess my step sibling gets their stuff in order and picks a new platform. So thank you to the mods, Aaron and Jolie, love you both. Until next time, thank you all very much. Have a great one. Peace.
Trump piled debt, trillions tall, promised Mexico would fund that wall, praised dictators, said they're strong, had Joe done it, they'd say he's wrong, had Biden done it, MAGA would flip, had Biden done it, whole numbers would flip, had Biden done it, they'd scream foul play, but Trump did it, so it must be okay. Goes through crises, storms and war, called soldiers losers who died in war, hire his kids to run DC, if it was Hunter they'd scream treachery, had Biden done it, MAGA would flip, had Biden done it, the numbers would slip, had Biden done it, Fox News would say I made, but Trump did it, so it must be okay. Love Kim Jong-un, he wrote love letters that take the guns first, lose those rights forever, signed you spending bills with glee, had Joe done that it'd be tyranny, had Biden done it, MAGA would flip, had Biden done it, the numbers would flip, had Biden done it, they child up today, but Trump did it, so it must be okay. Kept secret files, countless untold, said Putin's word was good as gold, invited the Taliban to come to U.S. soil, if Joe had done that, they'd all recoil, had Biden done it, MAGA would flip, had Biden done it, well numbers would slip, had Biden done it, they'd want him to pay, but Trump did it, so it must be okay. Double standards loud and clear, rules for Trump, but not for peers. What they call treason if Joe's the name is patriotism when Donald's to blame. Had Biden done it, MAGA would flip, had Biden done it, whole numbers would slip, had Biden done it, they'd shout no way, but Trump did it, so it must be okay. They wrote it in the laws, ink still bleeds, treating women like soil, just planting seeds. She's gone, brain dead, not even awake, but the state's got a claim, gonna plant its stake. Say it's God's will, say it's life they protect, but they ain't the ones feeling pain or neglect. From Texas to Georgia, they set the trap, rights rolled back while they smile and clap. Gilead's here, this is true, hey MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later, I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. This ain't ain't pro-life, it's control and shame. They don't care if she's gone, just playing a game. Keep her hooked to machines, cold and still, just a vessel to them, not a human with will. No consent, no voice, no chance to resist. Just laws in place, written with a clenched fist. Hospitals scared, judges playing God. Bodies ain't temples, just stay on pods. Gilead's here, this is true. Hey MAGA fools, they'll come for you too. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Bands in the dark, they don't care who it kills. Sacking courts while they strip out all of your wills. But we'll fight back, march loud, burn bright. Cause this ain't the end, it's the start of the fight. Gilead's here, ain't no grace. And those leopards are coming to eat your face. So I'm gonna jet, see you later. I'm not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator. Not gonna be a baby incubator.
The creative director at WGSO had a little something he thought you should know. When Dan picked on his bits, Steve got real gruff. So Steve called Dan a flake, called him liberal dandruff. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest. Steve's about to find out his mistake. In this feud, Dan's Kendrick, Steve is Drake. Dan might not be the world's best singer, but he's got more talent in his little finger. Steve thinks that his lines are really clever, but when do people ever like him? Never. Liberal Dan's got better lyrics, this is true. Listen and you'll feel like I do. Liberal Dan, his show is great. Liberal Dan, he goes live at 8. Liberal Dan radio, it's the best, cause Liberal Dan's head and shoulders above the rest.
I ache for the touch of your lips, dear, but much more for the touch of your whips, dear. You can raise welts like nobody else as we dance to the masochism polka. Let our love be a flame, not an ember. Say it's me that you want to dismember. Blacken my eye, set fire to my tie as we dance to the masochism polka. At your command, before you here I stand. My heart is in my hand. Ugh, it's here that I must be. My heart entreats, just hear those savage beats, and go put on your cleats and come and trample me. Your heart is hard as stone or mahogany. That's why I'm in such exquisite agony. My soul is on fire, it's aflame with desire, which is why I perspire when we coca. You caught my nose in your left castanet, love. I can feel the pain yet, love. Every time I hear drums and I envy the rose that you held in your teeth, love, with the thorns underneath, love, sticking into your gums. Your eyes cast a spell that bewitches. The last time I needed 20 stitches, oh, to sew up the gash that you made with your lash as we dance to the masochism polka. Bash in my brain and make me scream with pain, then kick me once again and say we'll never part. I know too well I'm underneath your spell, so darling, if you smell Something burning is my heart. Excuse me, take your cigarette from its holder and burn your initials in my shoulder. Fracture my spine and swear that you're mine as we dance to the masochism polka.